That was
Right.
amazing. Yeah.
Classy.
Welcome to Rad Pod and Chill. This is our midweek recap of our episodes. And normally our episodes drop on Monday mornings. This time it did not because, as some of our friends know, Sean Connor has a case of long COVID. And Sean, do you want to let our viewers know how you're doing?
No.
Okay, so he's
No,
better.
I'm much better. Yeah. It's a strange ailment, it's a strange feeling well, part of it is that, being sick for 2 weeks and then freezing cold. So I haven't exercised in about 3 weeks, which is
Yeah.
extra difficult and make extra lazy. But yeah, it's a strange feeling to be sort of normal and then all of a sudden, you can't, reach out and grab the fucking remote to turn the TV off. It's a weird feeling. Yeah. The brain
Yeah.
fog, very, it's like you're really trying to fight your way into a simple answer. Oh, here's Hi-Fi.
Yeah, high five. There he is.
Yo.
Hey, high five.
So apologies for the belated episode.
Do you know what's so
which was
cool? We already had 300 views in less than 24 hours of a show that is clearly the most dangerous show in America. Or why would we have, a highly tuned, well-paid, gang stalking brigade continually trying to discredit us? It's very interesting. We've actually
we have the former Estonian president on the show. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's fucking dope, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, be sure not to pay any attention to the work. Only listen to the anonymous accounts posting old DMs of Hi-Fi from his vitriolic trolling days. And even though you have mentioned it before, Hi-Fi, give us your 30-second explainer so we can put it to fucking bed.
Oh, it's very simple. I don't know. You ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
When you watch Game of Thrones, there's a segment in there where Tyrion has to figure out who the spy is, right? And so he tells three different people three different stories, and he figures that the person who is the spy is going to tell Cersei, his sister, the story, and she's going to come running back to him with that story, right? And it works. And this is an old intelligence agency game that's been played for, probably 75 years, probably even longer than that. But I know about it from the CIA in Vietnam. Is you plant bullshit stories. You plant absolutely ridiculous, nutty, psychotic, crazy shit, right? and you see who comes running back at you with those stories.
But don't you have a Nazi basement or something?
No. So this was the story I came up. The story I came up with was I had a hidden underground bunker full of weapons, and when civilization fell, I was going to start hunting people. Yeah, I'm an old IT guy with a bad back and bad knees. Like I can barely shovel my
Soylent Green is the people.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But anyway,
the fun part is they outed themselves, though. It worked really
I know
well.
It worked like a charm because they're outing themselves.
Yeah,
and they're just like, oh, look at all this horrible shit he said. Yeah, I specifically said that. And you notice, here's the funny thing. You notice that when they put this information out about me, they never show the accounts that I was in the DM with, right? And that one particular story, I know who that account was. I know the name of that account. And I know that the person who's like spreading this all over is not the account I had that interaction with. So
well,
what does that
here's
tell you?
The thing. We do not condone underground torture bunkers. We do not condone scalpels. We do not condone, this is a show that actually brings empathy to this war against corruption and to this brainwashing era in which we live. And quite frankly, Jim, you're not an axe murderer, right?
I don't know. They're trying to turn me into one.
but hold on a second.
But you're not now. Is the
point. I am definitely not yet an axe murderer.
Okay, and Hi-Fi, are you an axe murderer?
I'm too lazy to be an axe
Okay.
murderer. You talking? I
Sean,
like playing video games. That's what I
you're
like.
not an axe murderer, right? I am not an axe murderer, but what I am is a news producer, and I've been one for a long time. Hi-Fi is the most gifted news producer I've ever met. He's a freaking natural. Jim has this brilliant brain that can piece things together as he's doing research, and I'm in awe of that brain. And if you would like to check out his latest blog on Substack, I recommend you do, because that's an indication of how his brain works. Sean, your reputation precedes you. You're a gifted motherfucker who keeps producing this show during COVID, and I'm in awe of your talents. And now, before we get on to a recap of episode 11, I'm going to tell the kids a little story so they actually know that I ain't new to this. Okay? So back in the day, I was reading a lot of Malcolm X, and then I went to Lollapalooza, and then I saw Ice-T and Body Count, and it was during the era of the hairbands, and I said, that is a revolutionary voice, that being Ice-T and his band Body Count. And I pursued writing the OG's book like a pit bull, because I thought that in a time when music and the conversation was very vapid, here was an opportunity to do something of depth that would be lasting. And so Ice-T and I wrote a book during the height of the cop killer controversy. The stories are well documented. We had a book deal. Simon & Schuster pulled out when the New York Times did a story on cop killer. But at the time, Ice-T was, public enemy #1, because he wrote a song about Daryl Gates's police department and the brutality. And he wrote it from the point of view of basically kind of like a horror character. He loved Slayer and horror films. And so it was like, better you than me. And that was the story. Now, I used to get followed by Daryl Gates's PD back and forth to the house, and we were working on the books. And at the time, I was also dating a Black actor, and they used to follow us back and forth to clubs and blah, blah, blah. Imagine if Russia or whoever could afford to pay for a full-time troll brigade. Imagine what I would have got. How could you write his book? How could you? You know what? I am so proud of that book, and I'm so proud of everything else I've done subsequently, and I'm so proud of this team. And as long as you guys aren't axe murderers yet, I don't give a shit what you have done or what you have said. Just keep doing the work, and that is that. So on to the next subject.
Let me make a little statement. So I have been, kind of in my little bunker for a while. Being in Twitter exile has changed it up for me. So I've been able to do a lot of very, sort of intensive digging, in subjects that normally I wouldn't, because I'd be too busy watching Mike Flynn try to take over, the world. Anyway, so I've gotten a lot of clarity about a couple of things about, what's been happening to me, and also what happened at the beginning of Q. And, what's kind of amazing is that there's a lot of the same people around. You wouldn't you know? And I've also, very clearly now established the people and the process and the timing of who Q was and all of that. Q was always Mike Flynn, guys, always, from the very beginning. I've kind of hedged on that for a while because, was he just influencing it? Nope. It's fucking Flynn. It's literally his alter ego. It's all his friends, all his enemies, all his agenda, the ops that he was running, all of it is identical. So the disinformation that is being put out there, that Ron Watkins is Q, or it's just too much of a mystery, or it was all just a LARP, or there's no way to fucking figure it out, that's all nonsense. It's all noise and disinformation designed to distract you from the truth. was just that there is a man and a group of people who for 5, 6 now fucking years have been trying to destroy American democracy. We should stop them now. So
Yeah.
It's time, guys.
am not
Come on.
going to be stopping anytime soon, Twitter or not. My fingers are still crossed, but we will see. In the meantime, all you motherfuckers out there, like especially the ones that I caught you red-handed.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've caught like 3 of you red fucking handed.
And,
like
and
I know.
by caught, you mean paid people. You realize that people are
Yeah.
paid, yes?
And so what the fuck are you still doing? Like, why? Anyways,
I like the
forget
ones
about
that
that.
are
I don't want this to
emailing
be
you
about
now.
that. I don't care about that anymore. Fuck it.
I like
Just
the ones that are confessing.
keep trying, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're going to be doing the work and figuring this out. Thank you.
And,
That's my
and,
speech.
and as all of
I'm coming for you, Peter Thiel. You mother.
as all,
Motherfucker.
Suck your
as
mother.
all,
What?
as all of our patrons and our Patreon continually tell us, these people who are trying to discredit you 24 hours a day, what are they actually doing for democracy? Like if their effort is just to say that I'm not who I say I am, or Jim is whatever, or Hi-Fi's whatever, that's what I find so interesting. It's like, it'd be so awesome if instead their energy was put toward voting rights, if their energy was put, but
I have to answer.
That's never going to happen. They're
clearly,
just not.
clearly, if this is where their energy is to discredit this team and to mass report, I'm now getting mass reported from German VPNs, and I love
they pull the same
everyone.
shit with me.
I'm German. It's like, what the fuck,
Mensch, du
Oh,
Arschloch.
I keep coming back to
Vosry,
this.
I don't know an act.
If you guys
I
are
don't
fucking
have an
with
act.
Heidi, what are you like?
Yeah, Heidi's a
on.
nice one, you guys. Like, what the? Anyway, all right.
whatever.
Enough about the troll stuff. Enough about
Ben
Yes, moving on.
Moving on.
Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe
Yes.
everyone. No, but
Is that German for suck my dick? Sorry.
but no, I do have to say, I do have to kind of put this to rest. I did meet Hi-Fi because he was promising in flagrante delicata with mothers. So I called him up and I said, yo, I'm just kidding. Actually, we met because I watched a 3-hour interview he did, and I realized that he had a brain for network analysis, and that's what I needed on my team. Okay, so that was super fun, and I think Sean Connor might have a clip for us. Or are you going to debut a new anagram? Which is it?
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
got, Sean? Hook it up, man.
All right,
Sean's
you guys
got an anagram.
talk amongst yourselves while I find this anagram.
Okay.
Okay, so I have so much to say about episode 11, having the former president of Estonia, who was ground zero for Russian active measures. I found it incredibly insightful that he was aware that essentially trolls are sort of the lowest part of the corruption economy. They're a nuisance for sure, but he also said that that most, and I know Jim has a different point of view, but most have no genuine ideology. They're just paid by the mob to do certain tasks, and
No, I agree with
that is certainly what he learned. Having been, he talked about how when Estonia was targeted, it started at 000 hour and then ended like right within, the max amount of, 24 or whatever period of time that they were paid to
24
do these.
hours exactly.
Yeah.
No overtime there, man.
Yeah, no.
Mine are getting paid by the fucking month, man. At least.
I thought they got paid by the tweet.
Well, yeah, but they have contracts. It seems like it's like fucking Uber. Like how many rides can you get in?
I like how the one that you outed.
It's crazy.
I don't think
some of these people are like 15 straight months. Like Christ.
My favorite is the one that you recently outed, who does like Oh, I'm at the park with my kid. Fuck Jim Stewartson. Oh, today's a really sunny day. Fuck Jim Stewartson. It's like, oh man, could you be any more obvious that this is a paying gig? I'm sad for you and your kid, you know? Okay,
Well,
so
there was
let's
the
hear.
one that said he was a LARPer for hire. That was the funny one.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Ha ha. Okay,
Was
so
that
here
on
we
his
go.
Tinder profile? Was that?
Stop it.
It was on his Tinder.
Stop.
Yes, ladies,
No,
YouTube
no,
can
it was on his
hire.
Twitter profile that led to his Tinder. I swiped left, but it didn't help.
Oh
You
man.
didn't match. I'm sorry.
I'm from the generation that has
Well,
none of that
there's a
shit.
one-way match. It's a
Man.
stalker match. I don't know.
Oh.
Is that swiping down? Maybe.
On the upside, Jim, we're gonna end up fucking a whole bunch of them, so it's cool.
kind of like in Robert Duvall in Colors. Okay, so here we go. Anagram of the week by the brilliant brain of Sean Connor.
There you go, guys.
Alternate electors. What do we got?
Exciting.
Later elect treason. Wow. When in your COVID fog brain does that happen?
Alternate electors later elect treason. When does that happen? You know, it's a weird thing, man. It happens like when I'm like half asleep, half awake. You know, it's that weird.
Yeah.
Like
have you guys
lucid
been paying
state.
attention to all the crazy shit that's been coming out? Like Trump was involved in the seizing voting machines.
Yeah.
That's what we want to talk about, man.
And
These
guess who it was? Guess
Yeah.
who made that? Phil fucking Waldron.
Phil Waldron.
Phil
And Mike
Waldron.
Flynn was in on
That's
the
Mike Flynn,
insurrection
psyop
stuff.
guy.
Yeah.
And actually, Sean, do you have that my article right at the top? There's a tweet or
on the your stack.
Yeah, in my last story.
Let me go to it. Yes, go.
Because it's there's a super interesting tweet that from 2016, November 7th, the day before the election.
That Phil Waldron tweeted?
It was
Okay.
he tweeted Mike Flynn's psyop about Hillary Clinton's emails that Flynn paid for with $28,000 of Turkish money.
Oh, right.
Oh, with the Turkey, that's right. Hey, you know how this actually ties into our interview with the president of Estonia? Is one of the things we talked about was the allegations of criminality.
So look.
Yes.
It's Facebook. Sorry. That's the day before the 2016 election. Fucking Phil Waldron in there, fucking with doing Flynn psyop like 6 years ago, or 5. 5 years before the insurrection. Like, this is all the same fucking people doing the same fucking thing they've been doing all along.
And
we
that
have to
behavior
realize
right
this.
there, Jim, that behavior right there, those allegations of criminality, illegality, criminal behavior, that is the Russian playbook. You saw it in Ukraine. You saw it in Bulgaria. Hell, you saw it. You just saw it in Boris Johnson. He accused Starner of not prosecuting Jimmy Savile, which harkens back to that your side are pedo, blood drinking pedos.
Totally.
Right? It's the same fucking behavior.
Did you guys ever see the Oliver Stone Putin interviews?
The Putin Diaries? No, I didn't watch
on
it.
Showtime.
I couldn't watch it.
I watched like a minute of it and I got so sick to my stomach. I was just like, I can't watch this guy like,
saboteur propaganda.
Fucking Vladimir Putin.
Hey,
I can't.
Hey, Vladimir Putin gave Oliver Stone a lot of young Eastern European models for that movie.
So disappointing.
Okay.
I mean, say what you will.
Why do you think I'm kidding? I'm dead serious.
I believe you.
Still
I totally do. I just don't have the evidence of that. So
it was horrible.
Ask Zini Jardin on Twitter.
So Sean, give us your 30-second summary on it.
Hi, then.
It's a really not even well sort of massed effort at just rolling out Putin's revisionist image of
Yeah.
himself, revisionist history.
Yeah.
Yep.
He gets to set the time frame. He gets to set when he did things, when he did other things, and
Wow.
he'll sort of mock push back on Oliver Stone. No, that wasn't this time. It was this.
Well,
And to think that we
know
once
who was instrumental to creating a bunch of the QAnon content? Sean
Stone. Yeah, exactly. That was
Sean
exactly.
Stone, yeah.
Son, all up, by the way, in I Am cult
Oh, I
shit.
know.
Sean Stone, listen,
Yep.
like, again, let's go back to what the fuck's going on here. Remember, I had a video of Mike Flynn doing I Am Theosophy prayer to a Christian church. Sean Stone is the guy who created a whole bunch of the videos that fucking psyoped people into QAnon and did voiceovers and shit for a bunch of things. And that's fucking Oliver Stone's son.
So I want to
Let's
go
not even
back.
talk about Sacred Breath Academy, which is
Isn't
oh my
that like a
god, a whole other
Nexium
thing.
type thing? It's like
What's
it's
that?
got some weird Nexium vibes going on.
That's how I was
Sacred Breath
tangentially
Academy
associated
is,
with Sean Stone. Unfortunately, I had to
that
email him a few times.
that thing, the academy, was like 40 women in togas, Sean's girlfriend, and Sean.
Yeah.
That was it.
So
It
I
was-
want
it
to go
was
back to the
Yeah.
day.
beyond sketchy.
Hold on.
I want to go back to the day when the most egregious thing that Oliver Stone was ever responsible was the wigs in the Doors movie. Like, that would make me so happy if
I thought
that
you were
was
going to say
the biggest.
JFK.
No,
Yeah.
wigs. Val
Natural Born
Kilmer's
Killer.
wig in the Doors movie. So
I actually
no,
didn't mind Natural Born Killers. I
I
like
love that movie.
that was
Yeah, it was
great.
trippy.
I love
But
that movie,
no,
man.
seriously, Jim, I would like you to rattle off a few of the themes where you were able to start to put together how Q was Flynn's alter ego, because I have a comment that I want to make on some of those themes.
Yeah, well, it is all within the first, I don't know, 3 drops, which is what I analyzed in this piece. It has all the stuff that you need in order, all the ingredients for a white supremacist cult based on Russian propaganda. Like, it's all there. The first drop is a fantasy scenario about arresting Hillary Clinton. If you recall, at the RNC in 2016, Mike Flynn led the chant of "Lock her up."
Yup.
Hillary Clinton has always been the straw woman to beat, right, for Mike Flynn. Has always been, since Pizzagate, since Seth Rich, since emails, since WikiLeaks. All of that shit were psyops designed to destroy Hillary Clinton. And so Flynn had all that shit already. He had all the propaganda. He had his psyop group MAGA 3X to operate it all, and he just used the same people and did the same shit. It's anti-Semitic, racist, military intelligence, right? Mike Flynn is military intelligence. He was the top military intelligence person in the country, and he got fired by a black man. He didn't like that at all, and fucking, decided to go work for the other side. Nothing could be clearer from this entire episode. He went and sat down with Putin
Hey,
in
mute
2015,
yourself when
and
you're
then
toking. Hi-Fi.
started this whole fucking thing, and has kept going ever since.
So the reason I wanted you to bring it up is, as an erstwhile news producer for a Rupert Murdoch station, one of the things that's very important are ratings, and you only repeat things that rate. And if it tanks and you can't sell ads off it, no matter how fabulous or noble it is, you don't hear from it again. So when you were rattling off some of the themes, Hillary Clinton, lock her up, the Anthony Weiner, the myriad things that became memes in 2016, it seems to me that so much of it was just rehash of what rated. So they already knew that the narratives were going to be shaped around things that already got buy-in, ratings,
Yeah,
propaganda
they had
success.
Pizzagate already. They had so MAGA 3X was what they set up at the RNC to get a whole bunch of radicalized, right-wing trolls to run psyops. That's what the thing was, and so they never stopped.
Yeah.
James Brower was one of the heads of MAGA 3X. James Brower lived in Rhode Island, where Mike Flynn lived, and James Brower is the guy who wrote the first Q drops. He admitted it on Twitter 6 days after. It's not
Yeah.
a mystery. It's all there in the record, and both the evidence on the record is that happened, and all the evidence is that Q was designed to promote Mike Flynn's agenda 100% of the time.
Well, I think that we've been so in your absence on Twitter, Vision Surreal has been doing this monster,
Oh my!
mega,
They are
brilliant.
so amazing.
Can I just tell
Devin
you,
Cowell's mom's something I don't even remember
I am
now because it's been so
watching.
long.
I am watching in real time the aides for the January 6th committee go, holy shit, we better, mark this one, we better, make an exhibit on this one, because it's just one straight shot after another showing the coordinated effort. Roger Stone, Flynn, Waldron, everyone's coordinated effort. And so just on a thread that I think was originally with a tweet that I put out based on you, this thing has grown into an encyclopedia, blow by blow, minute by minute, of what happened and what was going on and what led up to these various war rooms. And if that is not enough evidence to go after the top layer of the seditionists and insurrectionists, I don't know what is, because it's all there.
Merrick Garland is treating this like it's a fucking 1985 mob investigation.
Yeah.
He's doing what they do, right? I get the tactics. I understand his plan. It's start at the bottom and work your way up. The problem is that the people at the top are still causing a shitload of harm.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
continuing to commit the crime. It's different.
Yeah.
It's not the same as trying to solve a murder case or some shit. It's a ongoing harmful criminal enterprise that is trying to take over the country.
Yeah. And we don't have a lot of time. What is it, I5?
Sorry, I was knocking on Jim's block. Somebody in the comments wanted to know, remember the Simon Doug interview clip with the origins of Q? Could that have been what got these soldiers riled up against us? Simon Doug? I don't even know what that is.
Simon Parks?
Simon Parks.
Yeah,
what...
I mean Simon
Parks.
definitely, there's a lot of his DNA in this shit. For sure. I don't have him as like an operator. I think they're like David Icke, he's, an inspiration for a lot of this crap, and, is probably in some DM rooms and stuff, but I haven't seen Simon as a,
Doug from Right
operator.
Side, Simon Parks and Doug from Right Side News.
Doug Billings?
I don't know. Is that Doug from Right Side News? He says his dad is a reptilian. Yeah, we all say that when we're teenagers, Jane. I mean, that's no big deal.
Listen, Jordan Sather was saying that from the beginning. Jordan Sather is all up in the David Icke shit. And Jordan Sather was there at the beginning. I mean, not the beginning, but within a few days.
David Icke was Gaia, right? He was the...
David Icke was
he's fucking
the lizard guy. Yeah.
Lizard guy. UFOs and lizard people and shit.
The British.
But I mean,
Nazi UFO.
So important to always zoom out and just
anti-Semitism.
It's all disinformation. It's all fear baiting disinformation, correct? Like whatever it is, we're talking about ways to engage people to commit crimes in the name of country and Trump.
And who is paying for it? That's the real question. Who is paying for it?
Well,
Corruption.
Speaking of disinformation, did you guys see the Alex Jones clip where he goes after David Pacman? You know David Pacman, the
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I've
YouTuber?
seen his show. I've never really watched it. PAKMAN.
It's absolutely hilarious because he's like such a meek and mild, good mannered leftist, and Alex Jones is like, that's the face of a pedophile. Look into his eyes, and it cuts to his face. It's like barely got any peach fuzz on his face. That's the look.
Yeah,
That's the
David
look.
is kind of baby faced. Like,
Yeah,
So,
amazing.
speaking of who pays for the shit, like in the second Q drop, the first one where they really do the kind of question thing, it says, "This has nothing to do with the Russians." Yeah.
Yeah, not yet.
Like,
Yeah.
it's literally the
Yeah.
fourth line of the first actual Q drop. The first Q drop is a reply, and it's that fantasy scenario, and I think they kind of gave up on that angle right away.
Right.
But the second Q drop says, "Do not target the Russians."
Yeah. Well, Jim, as we know, it's always what's not there.
Don't target the Russians, and yet.
or sometimes it's what they put right in front of your face. I mean, look at Trump. That's what he does. He puts it right in front of your face, thinking they'll never believe that I'm actually going to do this, and then he fucking does it.
Why would a patriotic military intelligence person who say, whatever you do, don't go after Putin?
Are there any examples in any of this in your research where Russia is made to look bad or Putin is made to look bad? Is there anything? Because for me, you obviously look at what's not there. And if what's not there is anything damning on Russia, okay. Is there anything damning on Putin? Okay.
Not a thing.
So, all right. Well,
not a single ever. The only time you ever see Putin is with his fucking shirt off and riding a goddamn unicorn or whatever.
Yes, to make him look good. So I'm one of my I don't even want to say the names of our friends of this show because I don't want the squash to go on them, but I have late night conversations with somebody that we all know who's an excellent researcher as well. And just based on a chat with him, I just thought, I'm just going to tweet out just a reminder that Brexit was a successful assault by Russia on Britain. 14,000 likes later, no one's disputing that. So I did the same thing today based on a conversation with him. It's very clear we need to remind people that Trump's installation was a Russian assault on America, aided by domestic traitors. And I think we all know who they are at this point.
If you want to see who has been, influenced by the Russians for a long time, go back to 2016, first part of 2016, and see who was pushing Brexit. It's that simple. Yeah. If you were pushing Brexit, you were fucking working for Putin.
Or you could just look at what somebody said yesterday in the Senate.
Well, that too.
That
I'm
we
just
need to
saying,
fuck away from Ukraine.
Part of the
like,
way
who would say that?
Part of the way that you suss people out is to see, what did they say? What did they believe? Before when it mattered. Versus their magical transformation to whatever they're saying they are now. Look, there's a shitload of LARPs out there. There are a lot of LARPs, and some of them have been LARPing as a character for a long time.
Yeah, I
know. Are you guys? I'm just reading the chats here from Vaudry, and and I'm not very current on the Montana trucker situation. Have you guys been following that? It seems fucking horrific.
Well, I know their $10 million GoFundMe got frozen.
Yeah.
Guess who's organizing and pushing that? Mike fucking Flynn.
Are you shitting me?
Well, he's certainly supportive of it. He's openly supporting it. Yeah.
All over. He's freaking out because they got here. I gotta put my face up here. He's freaking out because they got
Jim is like
Eaten by
that
the
character?
comment box.
Who's that character from the '60s, Kilroy? Jim's like
We
Kilroy.
gotta find another treatment, maybe in the middle. I don't know.
So,
Anyway,
but
the trucker thing is their model. They experimented in Australia. I don't know if you remember, but they had a whole trucker thing in Australia that sort of like went flop. They got some Telegram videos out of it mostly. But people like Ron Watkins and shit were pushing that. And looks like they just decided to do it here. They tried it in late 2020 with like, I don't know if you guys remember, they were going to have truckers like parking on the freeways and shit, like in
Oh, that was right down. That was right down I-35, man. It's like
yeah,
half mile from my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Trump
So-
train, bro.
So just FYI, I think I've told you guys this before, but it's worth repeating. 100 years ago in Italy, wealthy landowners were paying truckers in rural areas to violently create mob scenarios and violently beat up people in towns and wave flags, drive flags throughout the country. And Mussolini harnessed these people to build his fascist movement. So when we see the big trucks and the flags and the violent mobs and all this shit, again, it's not anything new. It's fascism 101. It's the authoritarian playbook.
That's the thing. It really is 101. Like this,
Yeah, they're not very good at this.
No, they are good.
They're good at scaring people.
No, they're good. They are good at it. The thing is that we're just, most people are unwilling or unable or just too busy having a fucking life to understand all the parallels and the just blatant plagiarism from the Third Reich.
They're not innovative people because authoritarians generally by nature are not like super creative out there. Let's come up with new ideas, right?
No,
we have our ideas. We don't want more ideas.
It's all the protocols of the elders, man. They had Satan worshiping baby eaters and that shit too.
Remember what the anti-Semitic
the gaslit nation
bullshit.
Girls always say same thing. Authoritarianism follows the same plan.
It
They follow step by step by step. They're predictable in that way.
Yeah, and we can't, and we're just unable to fucking stop it, which is
I would like to say, we interviewed former president of Estonia, Tuomas Ilves, and I was reading up on the history of it, and one of the things that happened in Estonia after Russia took over, if you had voted to keep Estonia out of Russia, like Russia went in there and shot people in the back of the head. Is that really what you want for our country? With all these people doing this, is that really what they want?
They don't know what they want. They think they want something. They don't realize that what they want is going to remove all of their freedoms, and that's the problem. And so the critical thing, based on what we're talking about, is that people, I'm starting to have this tribe of people who no longer want to be quiet. They no longer want to bury their head in the sand. They realize the urgency of it. They flock to me. They say, what do I do? Where do I go to get my information? And all of these people live in journalism deserts. They are surrounded by people listening to AM radio, which is being sold, churchy fuckery, right-wing, anti-vax, bill of goods crap. And they have their Facebook friends and they get their information on Facebook. And if they're really lucky, the Epoch Times is delivered to their doorstep for free. So we have a huge, huge problem in major parts of the country where they don't have a local newspaper. Their Facebook is filled with, extremist accounts, pages.
That's the idea,
and
right?
AM radio can't be trusted. So they're finding us, and we have to do the job of explaining this stuff for them. And that's why our guests, like having Tomas Ildes on and having him say, look, you want to understand Russia. Do you have that clip, Sean, actually? Because I would love just to show this one clip so you can get a sense of how brilliant this man is. And funny.
And funny.
Oh, so funny.
I love how he introduced
One
himself.
sec.
I'm a pensioner.
I
That was
know.
great.
He's so great. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
After I say the most interesting man in the world, he is. He's fascinating. If you can find the clip, great. If not, I'll set it up.
No, I mean, I have it because I sent it to you.
Yeah,
So
it's in our chat if you need to find it from there. I don't want to.
Well, while Sean's looking for that, I want to bring something up. What we are talking about is a person's information environment. And,
Yeah.
you know, we live in a physical environment. We have, you know, an internal emotional environment. And we have an information environment, which is the information that is pushed at us by the televisions, the radios, the internet, et cetera, et cetera. What has happened, and I think we can adequately make this argument, is that people's information environments have been turned around on them to drive spikes of extremism into their brains.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is
It,
but the question is, who's doing that and why are they doing that? Well, Sean, did you find the clip?
It's the same people who did what they did in 2016.
it's the same thing that all cults have had to do, right? Like, in order to get some undue influence, which is the goal, you need coercion. You need coercive environment, coercive propaganda. Usually cults had to do it by taking you to a compound somewhere, right? And like doing 5 hours of screaming at you, or before you know they starve you for 12 hours and do it all over again. They figured out how to do it with, to your point, Hi-Fi, with information to insulate you and pound you with coercive, dangerous propaganda, and have no remedy for it, have no alternative for it. And that's the basic problem that we have, is we've created these insulated places where people just get propaganded into being brainwashed zombies.
Yep.
That's
Find
right.
it, Sean? Any luck? Sean looks concerned.
It's in our, it's in our chat. It doesn't matter. I mean, it was a very funny moment where you got it.
He's still looking for it. No.
Okay. Because if you go to the group chat, it's there.
He's gonna be here for another 2 hours if he.
Like, where did I put that?
He's gonna
file?
find that fucking clip.
All right, here you go. I didn't want people peeping on the
Mr.
chat.
Mild mannered over there is not having it.
K.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Let's see if the audio comes. Here we go.
If not, I will speak the words.
All right, see if the audio comes in. Get the audio? No audio?
I don't hear it.
Negative.
I don't hear it. So go ahead and just run the clip and I'll say what he's saying. He's basically telling our viewers that for people to really understand Russia, they need to read a book about the history of Russia, and it's called The Godfather by Mario Puzo. And he basically says, if you want to understand Russia, because I like read the history books like Nicholas and Alexandra by Robert Massey. I'm currently reading Catherine the Great, by Massey, and I really dig in, but it was hilarious because he's basically saying it's a mafia state. And his Estonia, for example, because when you're a country that had nothing to lose, because you'd already been through hell, you really want to protect your democratic freedoms. And so they would not allow people with anonymous shell companies to buy real estate in Estonia, because they know that's a gateway drug to money laundering and corruption. So they don't allow it. And so he was explaining that these countries that have already been through hell and back, and as Hi-Fi described, if you voted against the Soviet Union. You know, you could be shot. It was not a pretty story. So they're very protective over their democratic freedoms, which is why it's interesting. You know, he was telling us that Estonia gave some weapons that they initially got from America to Ukraine. And then they went to Germany and said, hey, we have these old howitzers you guys gave us in World War II. Can we please give those to Ukraine? And Germany said no, which is just amazing to me. But he had such incredible insights to everything that we're experiencing, this little team, on a micro level, but he also had the very big picture. You know, he sees that we are, in order to deal with techno-fascism, he had some good suggestions. What were you going to say, Hi-Fi?
Well, I was going to point out that, you know, he did follow that up later in the interview, mentioning that the former German prime minister is now on the board of Gazprom and Rosneft.
Yeah.
Which are...
Yeah, we have the same problem with the former PM of, you know, Austria, who had to step down because of his dealings with Russia. And, you know, then he's now working with like Peter Thiel, right? So
yeah,
again, you know, it's a small group, and I think Americans, like, I'm always trying to give them something that they can focus their fight on. But one thing I have to say to them, if a billionaire who's responsible for doing some serious damage to our privacy is financing the campaigns of candidates to take out Liz Cheney, or financing frauds like, in my opinion, J.D. Vance, who's not, I do not
more than
be
a
trustworthy.
fraud. He's a fucking vicious viper, man. God,
okay, so what I'm saying is, so if someone like Peter Thiel is putting his money behind these people in these key races, that needs to be the national news headline so people know who not to vote for. Because if we are going to allow people like him to purchase our senators or congressmen, then that is a further erosion of our democracy, and it puts us at great risk.
If I may, yes. But the real scandal about Peter Thiel is not what he's spending his money on. It's where he gets it.
Sorry, what? I'm saying when Hi-Fi is smoking de blunts, he needs to mute. Okay.
Oh, that's my vaporizer.
Okay, well, please repeat that. Please repeat that.
The real...
You were basically saying it's not about what Peter Thiel's spending his money on, it's where he's getting that money.
Oh, yeah. It's where does it come from? The fucking government. We give it to him. Us, are paying Peter Thiel to fucking put J.D. Vance, a psychotic little sociopath who has been trained by Eric Prince, obviously, to go out there and LARP as Peter Thiel's id. Like, that's what it is. Like, Peter Thiel just, like, all the bad shit that he wants to say, like, he just has these fucking animals out there doing it for him.
Peter Thiel anagrams into the lizard.
Money, the way he has 10 million to spend on these idiots is because the fucking CIA and the DOD and the FBI and every fucking three-letter agency in America gives him money through Palantir. Like, we gotta sort this dude out and realize he is an anti-democratic antichrist.
Peter Thiel anagrams, Jim, so you know, Peter Thiel anagrams into the lizard.
I think you just need to do it on a piece of paper for us, because we have to see that. Peter Thiel
anagrams into the lizard, and Palantir anagrams into anal trip.
Stop it. Stop it. Hey, I got to address something in the comments. I got to address
the best.
Ambrosia is crazy, Aiken, totally.
Okay. Anal trip or plain
can we talk
rat.
About where he got the idea for ambrosia? Can we talk about where Peter Thiel got that? Because that ties directly to Russian cosmism and Fyodorov. And Fyodorov was this kind of nutty religious Russian librarian. and he had this idea, hey, maybe if we could take the blood from the young people and put it in the old people,
Yeah.
it would make the old people feel better. And if we took the blood from the old people and put it in the young people, they would get like the antibodies and good stuff. Of course, they didn't know anything about blood typing. They didn't, it was a bad idea. But Peter Thiel started a whole company around it.
And apparently, like, engaged in getting the blood of young men put into his body. Like, let's be clear, he did it over and over again because he believed it. And
well, that shit don't work.
why?
Sorry.
Like, and remember,
Sorry.
It's creepy.
QAnon
So
is about
creepy.
a fucking blood-sucking pedophiles, you guys.
Okay.
Like, it is
Yep, that's true. Palantir does
Oh my
turn.
God. Oh, he's just going to try to gawker the motherfucker out of us, isn't he? Damn it.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. Okay. Oh, my God. That was amazing.
I need to talk about Peter Thiel's freaking his obsession with Lord of the Rings.
No,
Like,
you don't.
he has so many companies around him
Okay.
that are
Okay,
named
good.
after crap.
Great. Okay. And he liked Dungeons and Dragons and always wanted
the
to be
reason
the
the
dungeon
reason
master.
this is important, is because if you remember, there were really kind of crazed Trump supporters screaming about Gondor has no king.
Mm.
And I believe that I may be wrong, but I kind of feel like that's where that came from. Because who the else would be doing that? I don't know.
I want to spend our last 5 minutes not talking about him. I want to talk about something other than Peter Thiel.
Anagrams?
No, we're not talking about any more anagrams.
No, but I do want you to okay, I changed my mind. Can you please show us the Peter Thiel anagram? Even if you don't have it built, write it on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Because if he could be rebranded the lizard, that'd be pretty great. And as a German woman raised by Germans, I feel bad for him, because when you're a sensitive German boy and you're raised by a brutish German man, which according to the most recent biography, it sounds like he was, that has malignant damage. So I wish he'd seek help and stop trying to kill the world, please. I'm sure he's going to be Peter Thiel.
That doesn't anagram. What?
Wait, where'd the Z come from?
What?
You made that up.
This is a Z. I'm sorry. That was bad. What is it?
Is that long COVID right there? Is that what
Yes, it is. Oh my God! It's the reptile, not the lizard. The reptile.
Oh, the reptile. The reptile.
Fucking COVID, bro.
That's
COVID. I was writing it down, and I was like,
we have long COVID. We have the perfect example of long COVID for everybody as a bonus.
The Z really fucking gave it away, right?
The Z.
Yeah.
You even gave it the little line through it.
All right.
Oh God.
Oh, somebody in the comments pointed out Thiel and Eric Prince have the sovereign identity to take democracy. Well,
I don't know.
but yeah.
I just wish they'd get
Eric,
home.
I want to do the hashtag the reptiles so bad. Twitter, give me my fucking account back, you idiots.
Oh, well, we're working on that.
You should hashtag the lizard.
We're working on that. And not to mention, I think you definitely found your groove in the investigations that you've been doing, because, you bring receipts like...
do more intensive things.
Yeah.
Like talking to sociopaths. Like,
yeah.
I
know.
You guys have some stories, man.
One of the sweethearts that likes to make a mission of trying to destroy Jim and us reminds me so much of Hannibal Lecter. It's like, wow, that's somebody that intelligence may want to check the basement on. But anyway, so one more thing, Sean, what is your takeaway from the episode 11 interview with Tomas Ilves?
he's a lot, he had much greater sense of humor than I expected. Really, you know.
He's
I mean,
awesome.
some of the shit that he went through. Holy shit! Not to mention, I
Yeah.
think it was the terrible movie Encino Man. Do you guys remember that with Pauly Shore?
Yeah, sure.
That was most of America's introduction into Estonia. Was that fucking awful movie?
Hey, you need to do an anagram with Tomas Ilves because there's going to be something there. And he has a
I
he has
just
a middle
noticed. Oh
name,
my God,
Hendrik.
Sean! I just noticed your hat says "Super Ukrainian."
Finally, holy shit!
Finally, somebody knows. Oh my God, dude!
Took you guys the whole show.
Nice
Not only
lid,
Super Ukrainian,
bro.
but it's from Maui.
Wow,
What?
that's
It was
cool.
my great
I like the scrambled eggs.
my uncle Mike's no longer with us. He was a super Ukrainian.
Oh, that's amazing.
Speaking of Ukrainians, shout out to Vladimir Klitschko, the mayor of Kyiv, who is like holding it down there. Dude's rock solid. Props to him.
Good. Yeah. As we learned from episode 8, if Ukraine goes, there goes Europe, and that's not good.
Nope.
I've been wearing nothing but sparkly shirts for like a month and a half, and you guys have not noticed. And the more under siege I get, the more sparkly I get. So pretty soon I'm going to be head to toe in sequins here because
A
I
big
like
bright shining star.
I like to sparkle when it's when the venom is cranked up to 11.
I just get more and more scraggly looking.
Oh my God,
I just keep not shaving or eating or anything else.
Oh my God, and you're
Eating's
already
important,
thin.
dude. You gotta
I
eat.
know. I do
You
it every
gotta
once in a
eat.
while. That's cool.
Get yourself together, man. Get
I
yourself.
know, bro. I
Dude,
know.
I had some some warm fresh naan with goat cheese and hummus and mixed baby greens, and it was delicious. You should try it.
I also
I just have to go to the store and buy all those ingredients, and then I could do that. Sure.
I made a hi-fi watch. All I ever want to do when I have a spare hour and a half or 2 hours is watch French films, and I made him watch Truffaut shoot the piano player with me the other night, and that was hella fun.
That was a good one.
Yeah, it's really
I still
good.
like Alpha Bill better. Alpha Bill is like, I don't know.
It's different. Alphaville's different.
Well, again, dystopian science fiction is a warning, not a how-to manual. So
Yeah, unfortunately, became a how-to.
yeah.
But we're gonna unfuck the world, this team, and that's why everyone's pissed because we are going to unfuck the world.
I mean, look at all the good things that have been happening since we've been talking, right? I mean, just in the last couple of days, I did the news story about the crisis text line, right?
Line.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And they straight
Oh,
up
so that
like
story said, yeah.
like the day after, they're like, okay, we're not doing that at all. Now, my question is, what about all the data they had prior? And then Laura says, oh, we already got rid of it. Yeah, but who had access to it? Who did you sell it to before that? That's the problem with data is zeros and ones replicate at the speed of internet, which is, really fast.
Yeah.
Just because they say they destroyed the data doesn't mean the data is actually destroyed, right? That's part of the problem. And there really needs to be more awareness of the data we leave online and the things we expose online.
I still want to know what Facebook did with that 12 hours.
Yeah.
Which 12 hours?
when they shut everybody in Facebook and everybody on Facebook out of their entire system
and
for
Facebook,
12 hours.
everything went down for 12 hours.
Yeah, entire economies got
right.
hit.
The 6 hours after the 60 Minutes interview.
The thing that really interests me about Facebook is, Cambridge Analytica in the UK had a bunch of servers that were, supposed to be imaged by the UK government, having to do with, Cambridge Analytica stealing data from Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. And Facebook actually got to those servers before the UK government. They sent in a digital forensics team supposedly with some cybersecurity people as well. But here's the problem with that. The problem is if you can access physically a server, it's not hard to get into that server, see everything that's on that server, delete what's on that server. And then if the cybersecurity people are really good, they could clear the logs that show that they deleted
You
stuff.
can't.
It's a cover up is what I'm worried about.
Well,
Yeah, right.
yeah. I
Talk
mean,
to
you
Yeah.
Cyber
can't
Ninjas about that
give
shit.
the subject of the investigation access to the evidence before you get it, because
And
that
yet,
doesn't work like that.
and yet,
Yeah, I know.
go figure.
Hey,
All
so
right, guys.
our hour is up, but I did want to say that we have really a wonderful episode 12. Unfortunately, we're going to be discussing how the right-wing extremism is affecting our northern neighbors moving into Canada. And as you guys know, we've had guests from Estonia, London, Australia. Now we're going to have somebody from Ontario. We're going to have somebody coming, from Canada. And so we like to always make sure we're showing a global view as much as possible, which is why Hi-Fi's news block is becoming so important, because it not only shows domestic, disinformation plots, but it also exposes what's happening globally. Jim obviously is focused on domestic extremism as tied to the insurrection, and we'll keep on hitting hard on that. And Sean, I think you might have sent our patrons their first prize. Is there something you can say about that for those who actually support us, even though we are heavily, under siege all day long?
Yeah, we'll be doing it, I think, for every episode now for the Patreon, but we just now run the entire episode through the transcription algorithm. Boop, boop. And so now we have a full transcript, keyword searchable, you pop anything, and then eventually we'll start linking everything that we're talking about, all the books, all the anagrams will be in there included in the
And
index.
did you send a special little illustrated thing too? Because I know you've been working on some really cool gifts.
I did. I sent it. Thank you very much. Sort of a rotating gift for our first 10 patrons.
Is it an NFT?
No.
We should
fucking
send
It's a right click.
people NFTs of our I don't know stuff.
I
Our
never
game.
really understood.
Can our game be an
this.
NFT?
You're
Can we
doing
get
pretty
that away?
good.
The game could be an NFT.
I always did it like that. Like I turned my hands upside down. And...
No, that's something else, man. That's something else.
Well, hold on. If you
No, stop.
Don't be flashing gang signs.
No.
Hi-Fi. Jeez.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Don't take me back to my street days, please.
He did not mean. So we were going to cut that in post. LOL, we're live.
Oh, we're live. We're doing it live.
That joke's old. Anyway, I'll just do a West Side.
You guys.
I am not. I disagree with that, Jane.
All right,
What's
guys.
that?
Bye. See you later.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Until Sunday and then Monday. Bye, everyone.
Hey, that was a new thing. I like that.
I still haven't seen the intro or the outro.